Immigration crackdowns are launching in more U.S. cities. Hi, everyone. I'm Tram Mai with what's happening in the news now. The Department of Homeland Security has started operations in New Orleans and Minnesota. In New Orleans, officials launched Operation Catahoula Crunch on Wednesday. They'll target undocumented immigrants accused of serious crimes who were previously released from jail. In Minnesota, ICE's operation in Minneapolis and St. Paul will focus primarily on undocumented Somali immigrants, according to a federal official. We're tracking all of this today and reaction. Ivan Rodriguez kicks off our coverage.
As anticipated, the Department of Homeland Security launched a federal law enforcement surge in New Orleans, Louisiana, dubbed Operation Catahoula Crunch by the agency, named after the officially recognized state dog of Louisiana.
We're talking about child pedophiles who are on our list of targets, burglars, gang members, rapists. Those individuals we are highly targeting, and we will continue whether it be 5,000 arrests or beyond.
The Trump administration's latest immigration crackdown was prompted by the shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. New Orleans Mayor-elect Helena Moreno says fear has swept across the city.
What they're seeing is what appears to be racial profiling of brown people, and then going after these individuals and treating them like they are these significantly violent offenders.
Activists say there's worry in the community. And as a new ICE operation unfolds in Minnesota, targeting undocumented Somali immigrants, according to a federal official, President Trump ramped up attacks against the community amid an investigation into allegations of pandemic relief fraud in the state up to $2 billion.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin defended the administration's targeting of Somali immigrants, citing data showing fraud.
There's widespread fraud, particularly marriage fraud when it comes to immigration. We're looking at criminality here.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
These new operations follow immigration crackdowns in other Democratic-led cities like L.A., Chicago, Memphis, and most recently, Charlotte, North Carolina. Some people in New Orleans are pushing back. They held a protest this week against federal agents in the city.
We don't support ICE coming to our campuses, coming to our community, coming to our cities, and saying, and taking our neighbors, our friends, our classmates off the street.
Organizers say there are more protests planned in the coming days. Some businesses are also taking a stand. Outside Toast, a restaurant in the Big Easy, there's a handwritten note that says, quote, "Ask about ICE whistles to keep your community safe." Whistles have been used in other cities where raids have been held to sound a warning for people who want to avoid ICE officials. Another restaurant, Taqueria Guerrero, has kept its doors closed for the past few days. Workers there say that's being done in order to keep its community protected. In addition to the federal immigration agents, Louisiana's governor says he also expects National Guard members to arrive in the state before Christmas. Troops are expected to deploy across Louisiana and in New Orleans. They'll help tackle crime. Mike McDaniel breaks down what we know.
After a phone call with the president Monday morning, Governor Jeff Landry said National Guard troops will soon deploy across Louisiana.
He said, "Don't worry, Jeff, we'll have them there in 2 weeks."
We still don't know how many troops are coming, but back in September, Governor Landry asked the federal government for up to 1,000 Louisiana Guardsmen, calling it a matter of public safety. In New Orleans, he says troops will be here through Mardi Gras.
It's going to be a specific amount of guardsmen that we'll be able to deploy in New Orleans and other cities under which violent crime is causing citizens not to feel safe in their communities.
New Orleans Mayor-elect Helena Moreno, set to take office next month, says the city is already turning a corner on violent crime. The Metropolitan Crime Commission reports homicides, shootings, carjackings, and armed robberies have all dropped dramatically over the past 5 years.
If we're really working on the same goal of going after the very most violent offenders in the city of New Orleans, the National Guard does not help us toward that.
With troops already deployed in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Memphis, Chicago, and Portland, Senator Bill Cassidy says it's a federal commitment to safety.
And what we have seen in some cities is that when the National Guard were out there, crime fell. And if you're in a neighborhood which has had a high crime rate, you're going to welcome uniforms no matter the color of that uniform.
I think it sends the wrong message, period.
Congressman Troy Carter says if the federal government wants to send resources, they should be financial to help hire local officers and buy new equipment.
A city where people are walking with long rifles and militarized and unaware of the municipal laws, untrained in the area of de-escalation. That's certainly not what the city of New Orleans, and I dare say any city, needs.
Governor Landry says simply having troops in place can deter criminals and give people a sense of safety.
When you talk to people that come to visit the quarter, to enjoy the quarter in the downtown area, they appreciate the secure presence.
A presence that'll soon be present. Mike McDaniel, WWL, Louisiana.
In Minnesota, fear is sweeping through immigrant communities as ICE's operation is now underway. The Trump administration says they're targeting people here illegally, not based on race or ethnicity. But many Somalis feel differently given the president's recent comments in a cabinet meeting where he directly criticized Somalia and its people.
Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country.
I think there's a lot of fear right now and a lot of confusion because it has been said multiple times that a lot of us are United States citizens. So the elders in our community are confused and they're scared for their children, and they just want some type of hope and understanding of the situation.
Minnesota is home to the country's largest Somali population. The Council on American Islamic Relations estimates that the vast majority of the 80,000 Somali immigrants in the state are either citizens or have a pathway to citizenship. It puts the number of undocumented residents somewhere in the hundreds. Jennifer Hoff is in Minneapolis with more reaction from city leaders and community members.
In Minneapolis, off Westlake, is what was the first Somali mall ever in a city, home to the country's now largest community.
So I was about 5, 6.
Including Zakaria Abukar, escaping civil war there, settling here in 1995.
It wasn't just the S-hole. We were the pearl of Africa once upon a time. And when we don't have that historical context, ignorance on fire.
The now tech entrepreneur joining Mayor Jacob Fry, alerting other Somali residents after senior law enforcement told NBC News ICE is planning an operation in the Twin Cities this week. Fry calling it a targeted attack and that as many as 100 agents will be deployed.
To our Somali community, we love you and we stand with you.
President Trump has since accused Somalians of ripping off Minnesota. Dozens of people have been convicted in what's now the largest pandemic-related scheme ever and are mostly of East African descent. Republican Senator Jordan Rasmussen defending any enforcement efforts.
The focus is on those who are breaking the law, whether it is people who are defrauding our human services programs or people who are coming and staying in this country illegally.
Some 80,000 Somalians now reside here. Data shows about half are foreign-born.
Many of us have gone through the legal channels.
Abukar hoping to keep bringing people together so his community isn't torn apart.
We need to open up our minds. We need to open up our homes. We need to open up our churches, our mosques to each other.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison said it's possible the state has the legal authority to challenge ICE, specifically targeting an immigrant group. Mayor Fry, by the way, and the Minneapolis police chief reiterated at that press conference that they will not be collaborating with federal authorities.
The Trump administration is now pausing immigration applications for people from 19 countries, including Somalia. That's according to a new policy memo from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. The countries were already facing travel restrictions under a presidential proclamation back in June. On the list, Afghanistan, Iran, Venezuela, and Cuba. The memo also puts a hold on all asylum applications, regardless of nationality. The administration's move comes just days after a National Guard member was killed and another critically wounded in a shooting in D.C. The suspect is an Afghan national who was in the U.S. with asylum status. Coming up, a Texas man is facing deportation after voluntarily going to an asylum interview. Now his family is fighting for his release. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. We're getting new details on Customs and Border Protection's recent operation in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Department of Homeland Security says the operation, known as Charlotte's Web, led to the arrest of more than 425 people since November 15th. We don't know if any of them were released or their charges. The department says the operation is still ongoing and they'll continue to target dangerous criminals. Our station in Charlotte reports it hasn't heard or seen any federal activity like what was seen at the beginning. That's when videos like this were popping up on social media, showing Border Patrol agents detaining people outside of grocery stores, even chasing people in parking lots. The family of a Houston man is fighting for his release after they say he walked into his asylum interview and never walked out. ICE detained him on the spot, even though he's married to a U.S. citizen and has no criminal history. Marcelino Benito shares his story.
It's been nearly a month since David Torres' world came crashing down in a matter of minutes.
How did you react to that call?
I was pretty shocked too.
Jorge, his husband of 8 years, showed up for his scheduled asylum interview at this USCIS office November 4th.
Right after he's sworn in, right alongside his attorney, ICE knocks on the door and comes in and arrests him. They're both stunned, shocked. It's definitely a trap.
Jorge's attorney, Patrick Pettibon, told us the arrest makes zero sense.
He was employed?
Yes.
No criminal history?
Correct.
Doing the right thing?
Yes.
Going by the book?
Exactly.
Despite all that, Jorge ended up here inside ICE's Montgomery Processing Center, locked up for 11 days. He was suddenly transferred 50 miles further to the Polk Adult Detention Facility in Livingston. Altogether, 28 days in custody and counting.
And it's just heartless to me.
Their life now on hold. It's already been quite the journey.
This is his credible fear interview.
David tells us Jorge fled Honduras to the U.S. in 2016, fearing he'd be killed because he's gay. Jorge could have obtained legal status through their marriage, but would have had to return to Honduras for only a few weeks.
He's so afraid to go back, he just wanted to do this asylum route.
The asylum interview last month was supposed to be the beginning of the end of his husband's immigration struggle.
Then we were just blindsided.
Their attorney now believes the interview was a way for ICE to bait his client.
Individuals are being detained at these interviews at a much higher rate than we've observed in the past.
Unprecedented tactics, Pettibon tells us, to boost ICE arrest numbers. Across the country, we've seen similar arrests when migrants show up for their routine appointments. Now, Jorge could stay locked up for months while this plays out.
Is deportation a real threat now at this point? I mean, is it on the table as this moves forward?
Yes, it is certainly a risk. Anytime someone is in immigration court proceedings, that is a possibility.
David wants the world to know Jorge is not the worst of the worst the Trump administration vowed to deport. He's a husband, and David just wants him home.
Are you hopeful that your husband will walk back through that door?
I'm hopeful. Yeah, I have to be.
Jorge's next hearing is this Thursday, December 4th, in the Conroe Immigration Court. Now, judges there deny asylum more than 80% of the time. That is far higher than the 58% denial rate nationwide. We also dug into ICE activity in Houston. This is ICE data provided to the Deportation Data Project and analyzed by KHOU, and it shows more than 8,000 arrests so far this year. That's already 2,000 more than all of last year, with 5 months of data still not released. Now, ICE confirmed to us Jorge first crossed illegally into the U.S. in 2016. In a statement, they told us in part, Jorge Amado Hernandez was identified as a target and criminal history is not required for enforcement.
That was Marcelino Benito reporting. That does it for us today. We'll continue to track developments of the latest Department of Homeland operations in Minnesota and New Orleans. For now, I'm Tram Mai. Thanks for watching.